Please go subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. Now, I'm using that Rumble channel for any purposes of me getting kicked off YouTube and also for more of my spicier joints. It's free as well. I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well. So go subscribe to FSTV22. That is Franchise Sports TV 22 on Rumble. What's up, YouTube? Franchise Sports TV back again with another video. Before I begin, shout out to all you guys out there. I did just reach 3K. I'd like to thank all the new subscribers for subscribing onto the channel, and I'd like to thank the old timers, the ones that have been here since almost day one. I'd like to thank you all for keeping this channel rolling, because without y'all, this channel will be rolling. But anyways, see something right quick. All right, here it is. Now, going back to maybe Thursday, it could have been Thursday or Friday. It could have been Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. So going back to Friday, I made a video about Joel Embiid, right? And his sitting out the back-to-back games, which didn't sit right with me. It didn't sit right with me at all. I'm sure it didn't sit right with some other people too, if you're outside of Philadelphia, apparently. But if you live in Philadelphia, a Philadelphia 76ers fan, you guys started freaking croaking like a bunch of babies. Bunch of chickens in the hen house. But anyways, so a subscriber asked me, shout out to Donnie Lewis. He asked me, could you please tell these guys that back in the 60s and 70s, NBA players were playing games back to back to back, and they sometimes even play 4 games in a row. And sometimes they even play, 4 games in a row, right? The same line over. These current players riding in comfortable airplanes are getting the best accommodations in hotels and make a great deal of money, not having to work a second job, unlike the players of the past. So that was a request from longtime subscriber Donnie Lewis. He's right. Everything he said was right. These players back then were making, start with the money first. These players back then in the early days of the NBA weren't making that much money. They really wasn't. There wasn't the TV contracts like they have now. There was none of that going on back then. There was no ESPN, no TNT back then to pay these large TV contracts. There was none of that going on back then. So these players, yes, had to have second jobs. And this also goes back to JJ Redneck's stupid ass, what he said a couple of years ago about, he played against plumbers and taxi drivers. Well, yeah, these dudes had to do that because they weren't getting millions like that. That didn't change until you got to the 70s, 80s, and of course the 90s. And now I think they getting paid way too much. Yeah, I said it. They getting way too much to be just not playing every game. When you got players back then were playing, like he said, back to back to back to back games. It wasn't that long ago when they was playing playoff games back to back. They don't do that now. They don't play playoff games back to back. They play every other day. And I think even during the 2021, it could have been the finals, not the playoffs. It could have been the finals. I think they played. No, never mind. I'm thinking of something else. No, they did play every other day in the 2021 finals. They were trying to hurry up and get that over with so they can get to the Olympics. But yeah, players back then didn't get all the luxuries that they got now. So for Joel Embiid to say, I ain't going to play back-to-back games anymore, is pretty much a slap in the face. Because I'm sure players back then didn't have the technology when it comes to shoe wear that they had now. They had to play in Chuck Taylors. You ever played in Chuck Taylors? Yeah. It's not the best. Actually, it's the worst. They ain't have the cushion they got nowadays. but they played in them because those guys were tough too. I swear to God, there is a study out there that says men's T has been lowered like almost every decade. There's a study out there. That's why I say some of these dudes got too much estrogen and soy in their system. And I also think it's the food they eat. Because all this soy products and all this stuff, I stopped eating soy. I stay away from soy as much as I can. It's not good for men. It's good for women. It's not good for men. I think a lot of these dudes be eating all this soy because they want to freaking eat vegan and all this other weird stuff. It's crazy. So I think that's why some of these dudes are soft. But going back to the days of Wilt right quick. Yeah, they was playing back-to-back games. They was playing 4 games in a row. That's crazy. Let's see here. One of the reasons why that happened back then, because they also didn't have a players association back when I'm using Wilt Chamberlain as an example. They didn't have that back then. For example, the 1961-62 Philadelphia Warriors played 10 sets of 3 or more games in consecutive days, including a streak of 5 games and 5 nights in 5 different cities from January 17th to January 21st. It's my sister's birthday. The Warriors played 80 games in 147 days that season. After a day of rest, the Warriors played 12 playoff games in 21 days. In contrast, the 2017-18 Golden State Warriors played 82 regular season games in 176 days, and they enjoyed a 4-day rest beginning a 20-game playoff run over 56 days, not counting that they get a whole week during the All-Star, almost, just to sit around. Let me read that again for the ones that can't hear that in the back. The 1961-62 Philadelphia Warriors played 10 sets of 3 or more games in consecutive days, including a streak of 5 games and 5 nights in 5 different cities from January 17th to the 21st of January. The Warriors played 80 games. They played 80 games and 147 days that season. After a day of rest, the Warriors played 12 games, playoff games, in 21 days. Where the Golden State Warriors of 2017-18 played 82 games and 176 days and had 4 days off before they ended up playing a 20-game playoff run over 56 days. Now you see why I made the video I made. But some of these brain farts, whatever I want to call them, don't get that. They don't get it at all. They just think I'm just pestering Joel Embiid. But like I said in my previous video, Joel Embiid wants to be considered to be top 5 center of all time. You're not doing the things that make yourself a top 5 center of all time. I also said that in order for him to last a little bit longer and not have all these damn injuries all the time, he has to lose some weight. He's 290, 280, I think. At 7 foot. What is that hard for you idiots to get? You Sixers fans that keep coming on my channel complaining. In order to help his knees, help his feet, and everything else for him to play a little bit longer so he don't get so many injuries, he has to lose a little bit of weight. He's at 280 at 7 foot. That's too heavy for a center like that wants to do all the stuff he does on the court. I'm getting triggered, man. But anyways, they keep complaining about back-to-back-to-back. So once you complain about Adam Silver trying to put this stupid-ass in-season tournament, it makes it even more stressful on you guys, apparently. Because now, in them in-season tournaments, you guys, from what I learned, you guys have to play those if not injured. There was no reason for no in-season tournament at all. The NBA was fine. Well, then again, it's a totally different NBA. I was going to say the NBA was fine back in the 90s and 2000s, but we got whiny men playing instead of real men playing. That's the problem. But going back to the 60s, these dudes didn't fly in first class, got their own plane. He had to fly with us common folk. So he had 7 footers flying in these itty bitty seats with common folk. They didn't always get the best hotels. The NBA just wasn't, these teams just wasn't loaded with money like they are now. So, but this is the NBA people like. Well, these kids like. I don't like this NBA. I despise it. I wanted to change. I always gonna go back to this again. Victor Wembanyama was right. Some of these dudes are just not impressive at all and don't put in the work. Because now they get their money, they get these big paydays. They feel like they don't have to do anything anymore until the next payday. They just cruise into the next one. This season won't be for, let's say this, it won't be for me cheering on my favorite team. No. As much as I get on the Bucks, actually this season I really don't care if they win or lose. I really don't. I'm kind of over it now. Because I didn't expect Giannis to turn into a small ass diva and all this damn complaining. And I also wasn't expecting Lane Time to come up here and not do anything. So I'm pretty much don't care what they do. They lose in the first round, so be it. They win the NBA Finals, and so I can't even lie. I'll be a little bit happy if they win the NBA Finals. But it's gonna be whatever to me. Uh, I got one. I got to see one NBA Finals from the Bucks in my lifetime. That one, I ain't go crazy on that one. But if they win again this year, and be like, okay, congratulations. Not like it was 3 years ago. I was semi went crazy because I had to put it in the faces of all these Suns fans that live around me now. But yeah, this season I'm on everybody's head this season. All these superstars, all 30 teams, I'm on their head. And I really don't care. I really don't care if all the fans of even my own team get on me for going in on these dudes when they come up short. I don't care what you guys say. You insult me in some type of way, insult any of my subscribers in some type of way, you'll be gone. Because I'm not keeping you around to go argue with you all day. I'm not doing that no more this year. Especially you freaking stands. You threaten me with violence again, you're gone. I'm not putting up with that this season. But anyways, shout out to Donnie Lewis once again. Yeah, the NBA is not what it used to be. Um, Dudes play throughout their contract. Uh, Not all this damn complaining. Back like I said, back in the day, they had to play 4 games in a row in a short span of time. Nowadays, they play 2 back-to-back games and complain, but they get to fly on private jets and get all the best women and get all this. Whatever, man. Whatever.